Jon is a comedian. You know him from his MTV show. You know him from his syndicated talk show that then went from MTV. You know him from...
Don't forget the soap opera Santa Barbara.
and Falcon Crest. And you know him from many stand-up appearances, such as a HBO special that ran, what was it, in Miami?
Drew's drawing a blank. I can see it in his eyes. He's drawing a blank. He thinks I'm Sandler.
Do you know him?
In his eyes. He thinks I'm a low-budget Seinfeld. He has no idea right now. I see it in his eyes. He just wants to talk about penises.
He's the poor man's Carrot Top is really what he is. He's Carrot Top without the messy props.
You create pain.
Let me say something about Jon Stewart. And I know it's going to be tough for you to take this type of butt licking, but please, just sit still and listen. I saw Jon Stewart when I was in New York a couple of months back at Caroline's. He was spectacular. We had him in on the morning show, and then he graciously invited us out to come see him that night in the city, and we saw him, although...
They were the only 4 people there.
We didn't...
Kind of a sad night for me.
You're not counting waiters, waitresses, and the people that work there, Jon. Be fair.
That's a good
point. Be fair. They could have called in sick. We then wanted to go say hi to him afterward, but there's a huge line going into his dressing room. Mostly women and some...
All head.
That's right.
It takes me like 2.5 hours to get out of there.
So we could not say hi, but we did attend, and this guy, there's a lot of sort of comedy imposters out there. You know who they are. We don't want to mention any names, but the point is, these are guys, they put together 20 minutes of material in the just post-World War II, and they just milk it until they die. And when you put them on a show like this, and you tell them to take some blind phone calls, they're lost because they can't find their place in their joke index. They can't find their material. And then when they go on, Letterman or Leno, you think they're coming up with this stuff impromptu. But what happens is they do a little pre-interview, and they say, Jay asked me about my plane flight over. And Jay says, well, you've been traveling around a lot. And, oh, boy, let me the food, Jay, on these planes. And then they go into their food plane routine. Jon Stewart, and I don't mean to pressure you in case you stink up the room tonight.
I have no material. I think
this guy's truly funny. He's actually, not only does he write material and deliver it on stage, but he can just sit around and be funny in an impromptu nature. Maybe only second to me.
Especially when I'm high.
And we should have time for maybe one more call tonight.
All right.
Let me also say something before we get started. I came in the show, Adam, for you. Not because of the wit, not because of the advice you give, but because of the love. And Dr. Drew, I don't believe you're a doctor, because no doctor I've ever met uses the word penis as much as you do. I listened to the show. I don't know what board certified you, if it was the penal board of some sort of state, but...
Unfortunately, I would use it not at all. It's unfortunately our callers that want to use it all.
Man, do they.
All right. So, Jon Stewart, Dr. Drew, me, you, we ready to get going? Larry Flint later on this week. Steve Gutenberg is thawing, and he will be in here, and also the band Cake.
Did you ever see the movie The People versus Steve Gutenberg?
No.
Yeah, it was a lawsuit filed right after Police Academy 4.
They wanted their money back?
Yeah.
Okay. Please, let's not attack upcoming guests. I'll be very curious to talk to young Steve.
I would too.
Middle-aged Steve. All right, Drew, ready to fire it up? Beth, 16.
Hello?
Hey, you're on Loveline with Jon Stewart.
Go to bed.
Okay. I have 2 questions.
Sagittarius.
Okay. The first one is, I was wondering, my boyfriend and I was touching him, his penis, and then he ejaculated, and we went and, we washed our hands and everything, and then he was touching me, he was fingering me and stuff, and I was wondering, what risks, if there was any risks still, of me getting pregnant?
No, I mean,
I'll tell you the risk. Is this guy Joey Buttafuoco?
No.
No, you washed your hands, and that's fine. What was your other question?
Was he also, he was also licking my clit and other areas, and I was wondering if that, counts as oral sex, and...
Yes, that is oral sex.
Hold on 1 second, Beth. Let me talk to John.
Adam, are your ears warm?
John, did you get much in high school? Sexually?
No, not that I recall. I remember going, I think, to a Streisand movie once.
That was as much as you got sexually in high school?
That was about as far as I got. How about yourself?
Yeah,
I did actually, my friend once got, I don't know what got breast. I'll say
Right. Friend copped a feel. I got nothing in high school. And to sit here week in and week out all night and hear about like 15, 16-year-old guys who go,
Right.
yeah, I had an orgy this weekend. And anyway, my gym coach was there. And
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's like,
and you know what the sad part is? They're not lying. Like
No.
anybody I knew at that age, if they said that, it would have been a lie.
Absolutely. All right, so
But Beth is
He
asking,
licked you. He
Beth
licked
is asking
Beth.
an interesting question. Yes, that is oral sex, okay? That's what oral sex is.
Yeah.
Okay?
Does that make me not a virgin anymore?
No, but it makes you dirty.
But that's the interesting question is, I mean, in the old man's day here, I think the three guys sitting around the studio here,
Yeah.
that what you guys did came after intercourse. And that was something,
Right,
and
that's
historically,
right.
in human history...
Years after.
Yeah, in human history, it could never, it's considered...
A grand slam.
Well, it was considered deviant and beyond what...
Yeah, because
what,
it had
When was that
nothing-
considered deviant? Is that true?
Oh, it was against the law in many states.
anything that didn't have anything to do with procreation was considered just because it felt good, and that was
God.
considered deviant.
Yeah.
I should be on death row.
And so it's interesting now that how we even why we even concern ourselves with what is virginity, what isn't. I mean, you basically had a sexual experience with this young man, and certainly there are more implications to having intercourse. The feelings are different when you do that. You sort of, in terms of your emotional connection, becomes more intense. That there are increased risks, obviously, of pregnancy, and maybe increased risk of sexually transmitted disease. And he was a virgin too, is that right? Or
as far as I know.
as far as you know.
I say stay with him. I mean, you got to admire this guy for sucking it up after he ejaculated. I mean, a story like that typically would have been he ejaculated, washed his hands, and then he went home.
Right.
You know, this guy actually stayed around and did his duty.
Yeah, that's huge. That'll wear off. So enjoy it while you can, Beth. But
Not with that
listen,
kind of material.
don't have intercourse yet.
I'm planning on it.
I have a few rules. People that call the vagina the virgina, people that call the scrotum the nut sack, and people that want to know whether you can be impregnated because the guy, you gave the guy a hand job, and then you washed up, and then he gave you one. These are people that should not be having intercourse
Also, somebody
yet.
who had oral sex and asked what they just did.
Okay. You had oral sex,
Okay,
Beth.
what if you just have 2 out of those 4?
Then you're good.
I have a friend.
John, you're an adult. You can do what you may.
All right.
He's 6, I'm sorry.
That's
okay,
strong
please,
work on
Drew.
that kid's part.
Slade, 17.
His name is Slade.
Yes, hi.
not.
Hi,
Hey.
how you doing?
Good.
Hey, I'd like to say that the show rules, man. Well, all right, here's the question.
Is Slade your real name, Slade?
No.
Yeah.
What's your real name?
Alex.
All right, Alex, what's your question?
Okay, all right, first let me tell you. All right, I was with this girl, right, and my friend brought her over. So, she wanted to have sex with me, because my friend Henry, he didn't want her no more. So, right, on one time, I was having sex with her, then she asked for me to come, she wanted to come back over my house again, right? And so when I was making love through, like, the last 10 minutes of it...
What? Huh? The last 10 minutes?
Yeah, see, she had to leave at a certain time.
Uh-huh.
And the last 10 minutes, while I was working her,
You're silky smooth.
I see you're a union
Alex.
man, Alex. I was working her.
all right, okay. Well, I was having sex with her. How's that?
All right. Yeah, what's your question?
Okay.
And Drew has that puzzled look, which means he's going to be planning an intervention for you soon. But go ahead, Alex.
Okay, here's my question. Is it like a bad thing for a man's penis to shrink up during sex?
It's a very common thing, and be careful, because the fact that it has happened will make you so anxious that you'll be preoccupied with the possibility of it happening again, and it might happen again.
Yeah,
These guys your age, it's typically because you're anxious or you're in a relationship that's not very comfortable to you. And provided you're not on medications, you're not having any physical problems, medical
I'm
problems.
preoccupied with it now.
Yeah,
Now
I'm
we
thinking
now that we
usually-
just talked about
It's
it.
usually performance anxiety that causes it.
All right, what was your take on Alex, Drew? Anything?
Nothing that I could begin to dismantle.
Can I say my take on Alex?
Yes.
Marvelous storyteller. I was transposed, transfixed, transmuted.
Him and Burl Ives. Lily, 14. You're on Loveline with Jon Stewart.
Oh, boy.
Hi.
Hey.
Okay, I'm spending that at my friend's house tonight,
Excellent.
and we were discussing, like, because we got to the conclusion that we kind of like each other, and we don't know if we should.
You and your girlfriend.
Yeah,
Have you ever had feelings for girls before?
kind of.
Have you ever had sex before?
No.
How old is she?
She's 15.
Were you abused in some fashion when you were a lot younger?
No.
No, never sexually abused by anybody, touched in strange ways?
No.
She's just bored. Where are you calling from?
From, Covina.
Oh, okay.
Wait, lesbian, though, someone who's attracted to another woman, that's not a sign of abuse, is that?
14.
I'm
14. She's 14.
Yeah, but if you're gay, I would imagine you'd know that pretty early, wouldn't you?
Well. Oh, sorry, John.
Adam, I just found it out today when I saw you.
No, 14-year-old who is thinking seriously about acting out in a same-sex manner usually is confused about their sexual identity. Usually, most homosexuals have difficulty struggling with acknowledging that's what they are.
But as you know, Drew, whenever we have homosexuals in the Loveline studio and we ask them, when did you know you were gay, they go, I was a zygote when I knew.
But it's very unusual for them to decide to act on it at 13, 14.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right.
So if any 14-year-old, I don't care whether it's same-sex or heterosex,
right,
I'm going to ask that same question because that is premature to be acting out sexually.
So, Lily, what were you planning on doing?
Good
Like,
question.
kind of like going all the way.
Really? Sean just lost his M&Ms.
Really, I would just, whether it was a boy or a girl, I would suggest you not do that. That at your age, it's going to be very confusing, and if you are still, as it is, unclear about what your sexual orientation is, this is going to make it even more confusing for you. It's not likely to clarify it. Yes, you care about your friends very much. Sometimes those feelings of intimacy can translate at your age into feelings of sexuality, and they can get very confusing. You may ultimately be lesbian, that's fine. You may ultimately be heterosexual, that's fine. But don't act when you're confused.
What if they just play around a little bit, like make out and stuff? Joe, you say that not so much?
I say that not so much then.
Yeah, stay away from that as well.
No. I'm
that's not so bad.
I'm not saying, the problem is that usually goes to other things. And
Right.
All right, Lily, can't you do what I did when I was your age, which is stay up late calling cute guys and then hanging up?
That's what you used to do when you were her age?
Yes.
Or did I say that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you did.
Maybe I meant chicks, but I'm a little confused now. The point is this: everyone is getting some these days. I mean, it's
You're
like
a very bitter man. Night after night, you think. Every
I
night
really
you
do.
call in and
I
tell you that.
curse my own upbringing because of this. I got nothing in high school, and everyone's out having threesomes and lesbian experiences.
It's crazy.
And
It's the internet.
it's a
You can
different
download these
day.
things.
Holly,
Hi.
hey,
I have a question for John. Well, I have a comment for Jon Stewart.
She's older. Holly, you're older, aren't you?
Yeah.
she's
Oh,
30.
phew, thank God.
Yeah, John?
Yes, Holly.
Yeah, I want to thank you for the great job you did on Later.
Oh,
I'm a big fan of the show.
my pleasure, Holly. I
And
enjoyed it very much.
I really miss Greg a lot. Wish we'd come back on the air.
I'm sure you will.
But I don't know. Anyway, yeah, I just want to say that you did a super job.
All right.
Thank you,
As soon as he's done shooting those LeBaron commercials for Chrysler, he should be right back on the
you're
air.
the wrong guy.
Greg Kinnear, right?
Yeah. Hey, can you guys get him on the air possibly at all? Can you guys maybe get him? It'd be great if you can get him on.
Let me tell you something.
So I guess we're not enough. I guess, maybe me, Adam, and Drew, not really enough for Holly. Holly needs more.
All right, listen. Jon Stewart is twice the comedian Greg Kinnear is.
Oh, no way.
Oh, Holly.
Yes,
We're going head
please.
to head. Holly, don't you have like a story for us? Like some sort of thing you did, deviant, that kind of thing?
No, not really.
All right, let me scratch beneath the surface just a little bit here. You
Right.
married, Holly?
No.
No.
How old are you, Holly?
30.
30s?
Uh-huh. 30s.
30s.
Uh-huh. You have
30s.
any kids?
No.
So you're a spinstress.
Yes.
Okay. You like men?
Yes.
Do you work in a library?
No.
Do they like you?
Yes.
They do. Okay, you date? You have a boyfriend?
Not really. No.
Okay. How you looking?
Okay.
Okay. You happy?
Yeah.
Do you know any spells or potions?
No.
Okay, you're not into the Wicca.
That's
No.
Because that would mean you'd be grotesquely overweight
You
and
don't
have
drink the
funny
blood.
hair.
Do you drink the blood?
No, I don't drink blood.
All right. How many men have you had in your life, Holly?
Too many.
Oh, really?
Wow.
All right. Little vagina break?
What? Yeah.
Okay, good. All right.
Oh, you guys also love Loveline too. You guys do a great job. Keep up the good work.
Thank you, Holly.
Okay.
All right.
Bye-bye.
All right, she was redeemed. All right, I'm going to read the HAT test, the heterosexual aptitude test. I did the GAT test, the gay aptitude test last week, and maybe we'll get back and get into the LAT test, the lesbian aptitude test, and many other tests.
Now, are you
as we roll
suggesting
up.
that there are people that are more solidly gay than others by using the aptitude test?
We have a lot of folks calling in that are a little ambivalent. They're on the gay fence,
And they don't have the knowledge? I mean, in terms of aptitude, or?
they're not quite sure where they Well, they're not sure where they are, and this helps through a definitive test. Helps through a definitive test. That's you give yourself points, you tally them up, and you can tell where you stand.
Are they direct questions like, do you enjoy genitalia similar to yours?
Some of them are. You may want to go along with this one,
the
John.
heterosexual one?
Yeah, you may want to, take.
I'll take it. Do you have a pen?
Yeah, I have a pen right here.
All right.
Here's a pen. I don't know what this is, but oh, you do?
Now,
All right,
if I draw just a picture of a naked woman, does that mean I get 100? With a little arrow?
This is the male.
My thing goes here.
Right. This is the male heterosexual aptitude test. Right.
Right. All right. Here we go.
Is this multiple choice or essay?
Just listen.
Okay.
Laugh and learn. Give yourself a point for every time you've urinated in the tub.
Oh my God.
And add an additional 5 points if you just made a special trip to pee in the tub. I mean, not that you were in the tub or in the shower or even disrobed, that you just urinated in the tub.
I'm going to do this question since New Year's.
Okay.
Otherwise, I can't count that high.
5 points for every time you've eaten something off a lunch truck. Add an additional point for every time you've eaten you've made a meal out of something you've either shot, trapped, or backed over. If you've named your penis, add 5 points. Now, here's a twist. If you've named your buddy's penis, deduct 25 points.
Oh, boy.
You see how this works?
I've got a lot of friends.
Add a point for every time you've barbecued. Add an additional point for every time you've slopped beer on whatever you were barbecuing. You know you're a man when you're spilling the old Milwaukee on the cue. All right. Give yourself a point for any one or more of these items that you may own. A gun rack, an issue of big brown jugs, a Barbie Twins calendar, a bowling trophy, a vibrating electronic football game, a domestic beer can collection.
Slow down.
All right, you caught up?
Yeah.
A still, a hypoid saw, a roto hammer.
Is this a heterosexual test for the 30s or for now? What year is this?
Let me tell you, if you own a still, I don't care what day and age we're in, you're all man.
All right, Capone.
A jack, a jack, sledge, or waffle end framing hammer. Add 5 points for if you own a Playboy air freshener. 10 points if you have a Penthouse air freshener dangling from your rear view. If you know the words to any college fight song, add 5 points. If you've ever wiped yourself with a tube sock, give yourself 5 points.
It's just Sarah Lawrence. Then do you get any points for that?
That would be under the lesbian aptitude test. All right, musically, 1 point for every CD that you have of the following bands, and 5 points if it's an 8-track. Ted Nugent, Leonard Skinner, Black Sabbath, Gwar, Molly Hatchet, Foghat,
Wow.
Megadeth.
Did you go to my high school?
Billy Squire, or as I like to call him, just Squire. Yeah. 38 Special, Warrant, White Zombie, Crocus, Ozzy Osbourne, Danzig, BTO, White Snake, and Thin Lizzy.
It's like you're reading my diary.
If you drive an El Camino, a dually, a stepside, or a stake bed pickup truck, give yourself 5 points. And additional 20 points if any of those vehicles bear the No Fat Chicks license plate frame. All right, and this one specially for me. If you've ever had a pal shave your ass, add 50 points. All right. How'd you fare there, John?
1,338 points.
You're all man. Drew, you got a call?
Yeah.
All right. Sean, 25. You're on Loveline.
Howdy.
Hey.
I just want to say, John, you're cool. Mostly, I wanted to thank Adam and Drew. You guys are true humanitarians for what you do for people.
Thank you. We wouldn't do it if we didn't get paid a tremendous amount of money, though, Sean. I'm going to be honest.
I'm sure.
What's your question?
Well, I just wanted to comment that you are not the only one who hasn't gotten laid in the past or is presently not getting laid.
Uh-huh.
He's actually, Adam's kidding.
Yes, I'm kidding. You're deadly, deadly serious.
Yeah. Well, I didn't get it much through high school, but
right.
Then I kind of blossomed, and I'm kind of going through the dry spell.
How old are you now?
25.
How long is this dry spell?
A couple months.
Yeah, a couple of months.
Please.
You don't know dry. It's like telling a Bedouin you live in a sandbox, my friend.
Sean?
Yeah.
2 months hardly makes a dry spell.
Nah.
All right.
You're getting, you sound disturbed about this, though, nonetheless.
Anytime there's a character on Melrose Place who's getting laid less than you, you're still doing okay.
And I'm suspicious that you may be sort of frustrated with the way your relationship's going. Is that safe to say?
Well, I don't have a relationship.
Right. I mean, you're getting a bit of an age when you start to want something more substantial.
Yeah.
Is that where you're at now?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you've just sort of shifted gears, and if you if it's worth waiting for, it's worth waiting for. I mean, you're going to have to work for this one because this is going to be a real relationship. You've been messing around since post-high school.
All right, listen, forget Sean.
And
Look,
good night,
he's
Sean.
not getting laid. Big deal. Lorraine, 21. You're on Loveline.
Oh, geez. Wow. Hi.
Hey.
I got to say, this is the first time I ever really tried calling in because Jon Stewart is the SH. You know what.
He certainly is.
Thank you.
Shoe.
Thank you, Lorraine.
Definitely, I mean that.
Shop.
Sean thought I was cool.
What's your question, Lorraine?
I got two. The first one is, I'm not currently on any kind of birth control, but the pill is supposed to be the most effective form there is out there, from what I understand.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. My boyfriend's been telling me, and I asked him about this before too, because he seems to know, that the Norplant method, he told me that the Norplant has the same stuff in it that the pill does.
Basically, it does.
So why do I think that I've been hearing that the Norplant method has been having less of a success rate?
I don't know where you've heard that. There's problems with it. I mean, people don't like.
Well, you know, talk on the street, Drew.
Yeah. I don't know where
A lot
you're
of street
hearing
corner people talking Northland.
Yeah.
Hey, Lorraine, can I ask you a different question? Does it bother you that your boyfriend is a contraception expert?
Does it bother me?
Well, yeah. I mean, you come home with a boyfriend and he seems to have it all worked out contraception-wise. I don't know. That would kind of bug me. It's like when, you go out with a girl and she's got like a filing cabinet filled with condoms, It's just...
Yeah, I see what you mean, but it doesn't... I don't look at it that way.
These days, this is also different since you were in high school. It's considered healthy.
Oh, my God. Oh, it is? Oh, all right.
Yes.
Both those situations are considered healthy.
Yeah. Okay, well, I was just wondering about that. Maybe I have been hearing false things about
Do you want to get the Norplant?
God, no.
Okay, they go on the birth control pill.
Well,
That's
I'm
fine.
going
Is that healthy, the birth control pill?
For this age, 18 to 30, it probably is healthier to be on the pill than not if you're going to be sexually active.
Should I get on it?
No. That certainly the risks of pregnancy are far greater than the risk of taking the pill.
What
Far
about,
greater.
did you read about that company they reversed the sugar pills and the birth control pills in the package?
By accident.
You know what I'm talking about? By
Yes.
accident.
Yeah.
So women were
Right.
taking like
Sugar
sugar
pills.
pills when they thought they were taking
Right,
hormone
because
pills.
a packet will have 30 or 31 pills or something like that, where
Right.
28
28.
pills
Now,
or
that's
whatever
a
the
screw
month
up.
is.
I mean, that's
That's a
not
big
like
screw
putting the
up.
cotton in the aspirin bottle. I mean, that's a screw up.
That's a big screw up.
Yeah.
I've not heard of that one.
But I just wanted to reiterate, well, I didn't reiterate before, but iterated, but I did want to say that him knowing about it, it's kind of helpful. I've never looked at it as kind of being a cumbersome thing.
All right.
Go on
No, that
the
is
pill.
probably
Pills
good.
is a very safe means of contraception. The risks of the pill are far less than the risk of pregnancy. That women your age on the pill have lower risk for things like pelvic inflammatory disease. When they get pelvic
Yeah.
inflammatory disease, you have shorter
Yeah.
hospitalizations. There's lots of reasons to be on it. If you're a non-smoker, you're under 30, I think that's the way to
What's
go.
your second question?
That's the downer, because I am. And
Right.
I'm also worried about the weight gain thing.
Right.
If you have migraines, if you have other reasons to not be on the pill, I mean, think about it long and hard. There are lots of different dosings of the pills. You should be
You
able
can
to
control
avoid
it, right? Different kinds.
some of these side
Right.
effects.
They got
really?
the low overall and the...
Right.
Is there high overall?
That's overall.
Oh, okay.
You know what I always found to be very effective contraception? Ass acne.
Yes, that takes the wind out of the sexual sail.
Yeah, in many ways, yeah.
Lorraine,
Sometimes I just draw it
Yeah.
what's your second question?
Second question, this is...
Sort of a
more
howdy
important.
doody like pattern.
Yeah.
What is it? What?
This has been bothering me actually for a couple of years now, because I've been dating him for about that long, and I wasn't a virgin when I met him, but I definitely was inexperienced when I met him, and I was getting the feeling, and it wasn't a feeling, it was true, that I wasn't having orgasms as much as we'd like for me to have, because I wasn't masturbating, and all throughout my childhood I never touched myself, I mean really at all, and he was definitely the first sexual relationship I've ever had, I mean intensely sexual, and once in a while he'll ask me if I've done it, when he wasn't around, and if I've, came, and I'd have to say no, I haven't, and the truth is, I just don't think about it, but I love having sex with him, and I do love having sex and everything that comes with it.
All right. Well, that's it.
No problem.
We're moving on.
You getting rid of her? I was getting hot.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. She likes having sex. He makes her hot. She enjoys sex. Good enough. You want to masturbate? Get into it. What
Or
else
don't.
can we say? Or don't. Julie, 16. You're on Loveline.
Hi, all right. About a week ago, me and my boyfriend were having sex,
Ay, ay, ay.
and on the middle of it, he screamed out my best friend's name.
Uh-huh. That's that can be disconcerting.
Yeah.
And did you clamp down on him like a pit bull at that point?
No.
That sounds
Okay.
like a bad episode of Three's
I
Company,
should
doesn't
have,
it?
though.
Really does.
Jack.
Chrissy. All right, Julie.
Yeah.
Listen, we got to go talk to Mr. Roper for a few minutes.
All right.
We'll come back and we'll tackle this disturbing problem.
Who shouts out names during this?
Now the Loveline weather report for the nation. Mostly neurotic throughout the southwest. There'll be some scattered indiscretions around the Great Salt Lake. Also overnight, partly chronic in parts of Virginia.
Loveline will be right back. So you've got a couple.
55, sitting here with Jon Stewart and Dr. Drew and myself, Adam Carolla. When we left off, we were speaking to Julie. Julie's 16. Julie's boyfriend shouted out the name of her friend. Is that true? Yes. All right. I had to punch her up before I ask her questions.
Her best friend.
Julie,
Yeah.
what is the name of your best friend?
Monica?
Okay. And he screamed it out in the at the peak, at the climax.
Well, a little before that.
Why don't you guys share what you were talking about off the air a little bit?
John was blaming the blacks for all the problems in today's society, and I said it was the Jews, and then we almost got in a fist fight because I found out he was Jewish.
What
were we talking about, Drew?
On the break, we were talking about that sounds like such a TV moment. That
Right.
Somebody's shouting out somebody's name during sex. I've had a lot of sex. I've never heard anyone shout out a name. I hear this a lot. Wrong hole.
Right.
But I never hear anyone's name.
I've had my roommate.
I hear my eye, but I never hear...
I've had my roommate, which goes along with a wrong hole, by the way, sometimes. I've had my roommate shout out my name and pound on the wall and yell, quit masturbating so loudly.
Right. But honestly, have you ever heard of anyone shouting out a name? I would find that disconcerting, even if it was my name.
Right. You'd stop.
You'd stop and go, what?
What? You all right?
Exactly.
What's going on? Right. It's like some sort of sexual page in the middle of sex.
Is he loud typically during sex?
Excuse me?
Is he loud typically? Does he shout other things? Does he make noise?
No.
No.
He just blurted it out?
Okay, so he has some form of sexual Tourette's.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, who just entered the cabin?
Oh, my mom.
Okay.
Your mom?
Yeah.
So do we have to change? And anyway, when you're growing rhododendrons, what you need to do is take the soil and till it.
So, did you question him about this, Julie?
No, I don't know how to.
No. Okay. Would you like me to question him about it?
No.
I think you would.
No, I wouldn't.
Let's
really.
get it over with.
No.
Please.
I prefer if you wouldn't.
Okay.
Can I question him? Can we question Monica about this? Perhaps that there's something about that we should know about.
All right. So,
Nobody.
Yeah, you guys followed through on that experience in spite of you being disturbed like that?
No.
What happened?
Well, nothing really.
You mean you stopped in the middle of it? You threw him off?
No, but I didn't tell him what was wrong.
how did he react? Did he do a whoops?
He didn't really.
Which is one of the few things I will yell out during sex.
Whoops?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll yell that.
Whoops and sorry are my as audible as I get. He didn't, and it's usually in that order. Whoops, sorry.
I just usually yell out, cash on table. Don't call cop.
Stay away from the coke on your way out. So Julie,
Oh my God, my mom just walked in. Now what do I do? Oh!
Julie, he didn't seem apologetic or anything.
No, he acted like nothing was wrong.
All right,
That's
so he was
great.
playing it cool. All right, I think I should confront him. If you won't let me confront him, then I think you need to confront him.
Because obviously, he's going to deny it no matter what. He's already minimizing it, and you're probably going to require somebody else to push him a little bit, see if other people agree that he's not covering something up.
Can I ask you, does he flirt with your friend Monica? Does he talk about her ever out of the sack?
Nope.
How long have you been out with your
Never
boyfriend?
brings her up.
Nope.
How long have you been out with your boyfriend?
About 2 months.
Okay, and you've never seen Monica and your boyfriend exchanging glances or anything like that?
Never.
No weird feelings.
Okay, well, listen. Here's the situation. And, Drew, you say you're a doctor, so you'll know what I'm talking about. I had sometimes when you're under duress, even if it's sexual duress, you'll shout out bizarre things. Like when people come out of a coma, they say bizarre. It's not like the movies. I had a friend we went to Tijuana. He passed out on the border, just in a blacked out. And we knew it because we kicked him in the nuts a few times while he was lying there, which is what good buddies do to find out if their friends are actually passed out or faking it. He was passed out. We stuffed him in the back of a Celica, and we're driving into San Diego. And when he woke up from this, what was about a 45-minute blackout. Yes, it had Shelley Long in it. When he woke up, he yelled something from a commercial, Uncle Ben's converted rice commercial that had been running during the time. This is the early 80s. He yelled, "Captain, we can't feed them boys sticky rice." Okay,
he did not.
That's the first thing out of the guy's mouth. All right, why he yelled, "Captain, we can't feed them boys sticky rice"? I don't know. I don't know if he knows. It was lodged somewhere in his brain, and it just came crawling out right at that time.
So what you're saying is it might be a different Monica. It might be from a commercial.
It could be. Was there an Uncle Ben's commercial that involved someone named Monica?
Could have been Monocle.
Monocle. He was yelling out for Colonel Klink. Oh, gun. I yell that a lot during sex. Schultz.
Nick.
Yeah?
Nick, you're 12.
Yeah.
All right.
Nick?
Yeah. I got this problem.
Yes.
Yeah. There's this girl I like, and she knows that I like her.
She knows you like her?
Yeah, she knows that I like her. But I don't know if I should ask her out or not. You know, I went to her house for the past few days and called her on the phone.
You hung out at her house.
Yeah, basically.
What would asking her out entail? What would that mean to you?
Like just saying, like, would you go out with me?
Where would you go?
No, I mean like as a couple, like.
But how is
6
asking her
days in
out
Puerto Vallarta
different than hanging out at her house? What I'm trying to figure out.
Well, you know, it's just like being together and.
It's like official. It's in the schools. If you ask somebody out, you're officially a couple, and that's your first step.
You should do it.
Nick.
Yeah.
What were you doing at her house?
Let's
were you,
do it now
were you
for
hanging out with with her brother or something like that?
No, I was hanging out with her, me and my friend.
You get along with her? You like her as a person?
Yeah.
She's cool? What's cool about her?
I was just her. She's like everything.
She's
Really?
cool. She's funny?
Yeah.
Cool.
Mm-hmm. Does that retainer turn you on?
Huh, of course.
Yeah. I dug a retainer, too. I used to take an eyebrow pencil and just paint a black line across my teeth. You know,
Did you really?
Like
You've obviously never worn one, or you would.
like the Andrews sisters used to do during the, in the 40s, during the war years when they were, on their leg. When they didn't have the
Is that
silk.
true?
Yeah.
And they would draw on the stockings?
Yeah, when they were using they were using all the nylon for parachutes and whatnot, women would just draw a line down the side of their leg that looked like a seam with an eyebrow pencil.
Can I tell you something, Adam?
That's why I go nuts whenever I take mushrooms, by the way. I think about things like this. My God, a woman is drawing she's doing it she's detailing her leg with a eyebrow pencil.
Can I just say, excellent to use an Andrew sister reference for 12-year-old Nick, who I'm sure is just thinking, I have no idea what you're talking about. Connie Andrew? What? Connie Stevens? Who? Andrew Stevens?
Nick.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk to her.
Let's call her, Nick.
Let's do it.
Let's call her.
I'm home. I already called her like.
Conference her.
Today.
You did?
Yeah.
Where is she?
I don't know if she's home because she went go-kart racing earlier today. She came back.
She's kind of a tomboy. She's physical. You like to get outside and play a little football?
Huh? No, we play basketball.
Oh, really?
Excellent, Nick.
All right. She taller than you, Nick?
No.
Okay, good. Good man. Nick.
Yeah.
We're going to talk to her.
You are?
Have you kissed her yet, Nick?
Huh?
Have you kissed her yet?
Yeah.
Nick, you're already going out.
Huh? No. We went out like last year, and then we were supposed to get back together.
Uh-huh.
But we like never did because like I don't know, just like this lie went around, and I don't know.
Hey, you know what? Lives get so complicated, Nick.
Yeah, especially 11, 12 years old.
You with your
Just
career.
for a second, remember that feeling.
Nick.
Just
it's
remember,
for her-
you're 12 again. Just be there for a minute.
I was humiliated at 12. I can't even. Nick is so far ahead of me right now than I ever was at 12. Nick, you're doing very
even
well.
Nick doing well and on track, it's uncomfortable for him. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Nick, you're a sexual tiger.
You're a strong man, Nick. Where do you want to take her? You want to take her to a movie?
Huh?
You want to take?
Yeah, I've been to a movie with her once with all the friends and stuff.
All right.
You ever been out with her by yourself?
Huh?
That's what he wants to do.
Oh, you never been out with
That's
her
what you need to do.
Yeah.
You don't need
Let's call her.
an acne-riddled chaperone with you.
You know what we
need
should
your
do?
own thing.
We should actually call her folks and do it the proper way, the English way.
Right.
No.
And get the permission from the folks and make this thing official.
No, because like her mom's also her mom's like nice and stuff.
Yeah.
But her dad's like
He's a little wicked.
very.
Right. And
He's
all right.
probably just protective of his daughter, Nick.
Yeah.
It's nothing personal against you. I've been through that.
Nick.
Yeah.
Here's the situation. We're going to put you on hold.
Alright.
You're going to give the lovely phone screener Lisa her number off the air, and we'll talk to her. There's a lot of testosterone in this room, and between the three of us, I guarantee a date. I can't guarantee kids. I can't guarantee a marriage or a relationship, but I can guarantee one date.
You know what I think, honestly? You're going to try and snake Nick, and you're going to end up going out with her. And I don't trust you.
Bird dog Nick.
I think you're going to bird dog Nick.
Listen, I need a youngin'. John.
What's up?
17. You're on Loveline with Jon Stewart.
What's going on, John?
Hey, John.
Adam.
Hey.
I got a problem here. I've been masturbating since I was 13.
No problem there.
Normal.
And I just haven't quit.
That's also normal.
Ain't going to stop, my friend.
4 to 6 times a day.
Get used to it.
4 to 6 times a day?
Yeah, and I'm just like a pornaholic and everything.
All right, so it's the compulsivity that's bothering you. You're not.
Yeah.
Do you have a girlfriend, or have you ever had a girlfriend?
Yeah, I've had a girlfriend.
And do you do okay at school?
Yeah, I'm all right.
You're able to function okay? This doesn't preoccupy you to the point that you can't function?
Oh, no.
None of the textbooks are stuck together in the middle?
Nah.
Do you have any other stuff like that? Like, do you ever, how often do you wash your hands?
Like a couple times a day, I guess.
Okay, here's my little ratio. Always wash your hands more times than you masturbate.
Right.
That's just a little rule of thumb that I like to knit on a pillow and keep on my couch.
But not like 50 times more.
No, not 50 times more, but I mean, if you're doing it 6 times a day and washing twice a day, we got a problem with the ratio
There's
here.
some math.
There's some math that needs to be done here.
Something's not gelling. John.
Yeah.
All right, so you're obsessed with your own genitalia.
And porn.
Let me ask
And
one other
porn.
question. Is there any alcoholism in your family?
Huh?
Is there any alcoholism in your family?
No.
Okay, because true sexual compulsion is an
Yeah,
addiction.
my grandfather was an alcoholic.
All right, so be careful. True addiction to sexual compulsion can occur in the setting of alcoholism.
Can I ask a question as well to John? John, how do you feel about women? Like women your age, women you know. Do you respect them? Do you have a healthy respect for women? Or do you sort of just objectify them because you watch so much porn?
I respect him.
Yeah, so when you've dealt with women in the past in relationships, it's been relatively healthy?
Yes. My my notion of not objectifying women, but of respecting women, is actually keeping the sound up while I'm watching the porn.
You keep the sound up because
Yeah.
they are acting.
Right. That means you have a very healthy respect for the
John,
female form.
There's a couple of possibilities here, and you're going to have to stay alert to what's going on. It may be this is just your sexuality. Some people have a lot more than others.
All right.
It may be a hang on. It may be a compulsion, and those compulsions, if they are truly an addiction, tend to be associated with problems dealing with aggressive feelings. And things like Sexaholics Anonymous can be available for you.
All right, so he's going about 30, 35 times a week. Can you cut down to maybe 20, 25 times a week?
Right.
I've tried, but...
Go slow. Hey, do women frustrate you? Like, do you get frustrated around women?
No, not at all.
Oh, okay. So it's...
And then the other thing is, if you're able to carry on, as John said, normal intimate relationships, it may just be you. Just tune into what's going on in the next few years. You may need to actually get some help for this.
All right, we need
at very
to...
least a new VCR. I mean, this guy's going to burn through these 4 heads. I mean, it's crazy.
I need to come up in the Loveline lab with some sort of patch. You know, they have the Nicoderm, and they have
patch,
some sort of like wackoderm or something a man, even if it was just a placebo effect, but something that was there.
Adam, it could just be masking tape over his, his wiener.
All right, we'll just put the patch over the end of the penis. That's right.
That's
Yeah,
where you
so
just
it's not what's in the patch, it's where you put the patch. All right.
Who needs a porn at 17 to masturbate, though? That's what I don't understand. I mean, at 17, you masturbate in the SS Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue.
Are you kidding? I would look at the shadow on the ceiling of me masturbating and masturbate to that when I was
the letter
that age.
W would send me off.
Wait a minute, I just went. Okay. Don't ever say W in front of me. All right. Nick's friend, young female friend, said no and hung up when we called her, according to
said no,
Sherry or Lisa. I don't know what she said no about. But, Drew, why don't you sell the hell out of the next one and we'll go to break.
Brian is separated from his wife, having an affair with an employee.
Healthy.
Hi! Loveline's gonna be right back. All right, play the beat. Play the damn beat. What's going on? Where the hell's the beat? Where the hell's the damn beat?
We're sorry. We're sorry. We're sorry.
Rodney Dangerfield. I'll tell you, the guys here at Loveline are the greatest. They're the best in the whole world. Now, will you please untie me?
All right, that wasn't Ronnie. That was engineer Mike doing this, Ronnie. And I'm Adam Carolla, and that is Dr. Drew.
This is Loveline on
Radio
Station.
Loveline is the name of the show. I'm Adam Carolla. That is Dr. Drew. Tonight, our guest is Jon Stewart. He is going to be filling in for Tom Schneider, who is getting a new kidney and perhaps a hip. And that is 12:30 on CBS. All this week, if you've not seen Jon work, this is a good forum for him because Jon is not like most comedians that are sort of married to their act. He's an impromptu performer as well as a guy who's accomplished at writing material, getting up there and delivering it. As I saw when I saw him at Caroline's, I guess, in the city, which is a club in New York a couple of months back. Spectacular comedian. I truly laughed my ass off, and I usually hate stand-ups. Anyway, he then did that same, or a lot of the same material, because he was honing it at that time. He turned it to an HBO special, which he did out of Miami. It didn't really translate, but I still laughed the first time I saw him do it.
But the Spanish audience went crazy.
Now, where'd you do that in Miami?
Coconut Grove, in a theater down there that had just had like the pajama game with B. Arthur. So it was one of those.
And the crowd never left. And it seemed like it went real well. I saw it on HBO.
Yeah, it was a great time. It was a great time. You should have been there Thursday night. But I don't know if you've been to Miami recently, but it is every night's like an episode of Cops.
Really?
The police activities?
Yeah, it's incredible. Like as you're walking back to the hotel, just, two big hammerhead guys thrown up against the wall, arms around the back, cops, their girlfriend, Tony, why do you do that? It's too much.
I think it has to do with the humidity.
Yeah, the violence is in the air like humidity there. It's like, you always think a fight could break out at any second.
Right, and there is, I don't know, it seems like you never hear about any trouble in Greenland. You know what I'm saying? The cold weather climates
keeps it down.
Keeps it down.
Yeah.
People stay in. People are worried. People are doing things like huddling instead of kicking ass.
People don't like to be clammy.
Right. You get sticky, and you start getting agitated.
Yeah, very much so.
And then you start whooping ass.
Yeah.
At least that's Drew's MO.
Also, I think it's because the women there dress more revealingly than other places, and it gets the fellas. It's like bowls in Pamplona.
Right.
People just get crazy down there.
Right. And again, you could trace that back to the heat. Brian, 29. Brian.
Yes.
You're on Loveline.
Hello.
Hello.
I guess I want some advice or something. 10 months ago, my wife and I had separated, and we're currently going through a divorce. Immediately after we separated, I started an affair with one employee who is married, and then here recently, I'm having an affair with another employee.
So you're out of control, Brian.
Yeah.
What do you do?
Several one-night stands in there too. And
what are you doing that you have all these employees?
Pardon?
What do you do for a living?
I'm a retail manager.
So these are people you manage, yeah.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure your company has rules against, yes?
Oh yeah.
So these girls are putting out for minimum wage.
Brian, I don't know what you can do to undo what you've done, but obviously you've got to get control of yourself. I mean, you're probably reacting to some pain you're in, to try to deal with, this is how you're dealing with your divorce. It's a very painful thing, I'm sure, and as opposed to dealing with the pain, you're sort of acting out.
Right.
And defending against the pain by trying to jump into new relationships and have sex, and it's just not good. You're going to hurt yourself and other people.
I'm still having sexual relations with my wife too.
Well, that's ridiculous.
It's what, Drew?
Ridiculous.
Thank you.
You have to decide what you're going to do with that relationship. You're either going to get a divorce or you're not. I mean, maybe you guys aren't really going to get a divorce.
How long have you been going out? When did you meet your wife? How many years ago?
About 4.5 years ago, 5 years ago.
Why the divorce now? What's happening?
Well, when we were together, we just didn't get along. There was no sexual relationship hardly at all.
And now that you're separated, suddenly you're having sex again.
Yeah.
Why don't you guys get some professional help?
Well, we talked about that too.
All right. Why don't you do that?
Where are you from, brother?
Kentucky.
Okay, I've not been down south that often, but when I have, I noticed that a lot of the fellas down there have what's called weapons. So maybe you want to watch those affairs as well with the married ladies.
Well, yeah.
Down there, they got a little thing called, what amendment is that allows people to carry firearms?
It is the shoot your brother.
It's a little bit of a vigilante state,
right.
So I'd say be awful careful down there, my friend.
Yeah.
Get some professional help
any
for you and
place
your
where people
wife.
drive around with the gun rack right there in their car, where they actually need a rack to hold the gun.
I've actually seen people with a gun rack with wheels attached to it, driving that around. Just purely driving a gun rack.
I don't even have a hat rack at home. Do you use your gun so often that you actually need a rack in your car for it?
But you have so many guns, you have to
Right. Well, here's
store.
where I keep
Well,
the one in
also,
the car.
I mean, but who, if you have a gun rack and it's in your car, is that so that it'll be there for you when you get in that fender bender? You know what I mean? Hey, you cut me off.
Right.
Pow.
Hey, it's, listen, don't make me get into the NRA holes, but I really think that's, they're very evil, and the idea that everyone needs a gun in this country is an absolutely ridiculous
I wonder,
idea.
though, if there are more shootings down in those areas. It'd be interesting to know if there's a correlation between carrying the weapons and using the weapons.
All right. True?
I suspect not, because you'd hear about it all the time if that were the case.
Well, or if they did all the time, wouldn't make the news. All right.
Hey, what was that?
Shauna, 18, you're on Loveline.
Hi, my friends, because I recently started having sex with my boyfriend, and they said, well, that I had to start douching now, but I've always heard that douching was bad for you.
Yeah, you
So,
don't.
like,
You
what
do not.
should I do?
You certainly do
Were
not.
you guys
have-
walking on the beach when you had this conversation?
Playing tennis, I think.
Okay. It sounds like one of those commercials.
You certainly do not have to. Are you using a condom?
Yes.
Okay.
Solid.
And that's fine.
You know what I
douching can actually wash away good bacteria and upset the environment in there in such a way as to cause yeast infections and other sorts of things. So, if you wanted to do it once in a while, a month or something, it's fine. But I would not make a regular habit of it.
Let me tell you the win-win here, Shauna. Douche-flavored condoms.
Huh?
Douche-flavored condoms. They're new. They're from Nabisco. Made by Keebler Elves.
Ooh, those sound kind of interesting.
I'll tell you, if we could just load the guys up with the douche, if we could have a guy drink like a quart and a half of douche before he
That's
went
just
to work.
a word that doesn't, when it comes out of a woman's mouth, you accept it. When it comes out of a man's mouth, it sounds foul.
Didn't you know they can be like an elephant? Like the trunk in them.
All right. Drew's, what now, sixth joke of the new year?
That one didn't work.
And also,
I don't care. It was an attempt.
like anything else besides douching to like clean yourself, Dr. Drew?
I'm not sure what you're asking.
Compressed air?
What are you asking?
No.
Like,
Is there a problem?
no. I'm just like, should I like do something special now? I don't know.
No.
Here's something that wouldn't work.
This is all
Dirty stick.
Yeah, this
Dirty
is,
stick would not work.
This is all designed to be used the way you're using it. Okay.
Oh, okay.
All right, Shauna?
Yeah, thank you.
God bless you for obsessing over the smell of yourself.
Shauna, that's another great name, though. Shauna. That's a great name.
I have a theory about names.
All right.
I don't have a strong opinion on them other than Tammy and Cammy.
And Amber.
And Amber. You want your little girl to get into pornography? Name her Tammy, Cammy, or Amber.
But Shauna's a sexy name. That's a good name.
Shauna's she's devoted to one guy, but she's screwing the hell out of him.
You know what else is a good name? Girls named Alex. That's a good name.
Any girls with men's names are cute.
It's kind of sexy.
Like when they call like Sam.
Yeah.
Something
Sam,
like that.
Alex.
Bobby, once in a while.
Rocco? Not so cute.
No. April.
Hello.
Oh, another good porn name. Yeah, 16.
I needed some advice.
Good.
Okay, I'm dating this guy right now, and I'm engaged to him.
Whoa.
Yeah, I'm 16, and I needed advice on whether I should stay with him. I've got other people that want to go out with me. My girlfriend kind of.
How old is your boyfriend? I'm sorry.
He's 17.
I have a question. Are you Amish?
No.
Okay, then I'd break up.
Break up.
Yeah, I don't know how at 16 you can tell whether you're ready to be married or not.
Well, it's kind of more like a promised thing,
April, don't get into that. I don't know why he feels that he has to cling so tightly to you. He must be smothering to you.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know. He's like really in love with me, and I'm.
Yeah, but how about you?
Huh?
How about you?
I love him so much, but I'm not sure if I'm in love with him.
Ow.
I mean,
Well, look, April, no, please.
April, do you have an interest in other guys? When you see other guys, for instance, when you watch Baywatch, does David Chokachi make you happy?
I have interest in other guys.
Which is totally normal.
Yeah, which is normal.
It's not normal to get married at 16.
I
I don't see how.
I'm not thinking about it anytime soon.
No, don't look. Keep the boundaries clear in your relationship. Keep him. He has got some issues here, and he has to cling to you. He can't feel safe unless he has some kind of lifelong promise. That's not appropriate. That's not age appropriate. It's not appropriate for your relationship. It's not appropriate for you where you are in your life.
Yeah.
So just make it clear to him that you care about him very much and you want to keep seeing him, but you're not ready to make a life commitment.
Is he pushing this thing? Is he pushing it?
I'm sorry?
Is he pushing this thing?
Well, see, I think made it that way to where he did that. But now it's a little bit different. I was like so much, I wanted to be with him forever.
Oh, so she kind of pushed a little bit.
How did you make it that way?
Well, I brought it up a lot, I was like, oh, I want to be with you forever and all, all like that.
Well,
all right.
So.
All right. This is.
I don't know if, I'm kind of like every once in a while I'll be like, wondering if there's somebody else out there that I'm
So
meant
you
with.
brought it to this point, and now
Yeah.
now you're scared.
Yeah.
All right.
You made a mistake.
Don't worry about it. Hey, Joni Loves Chachi got canceled. Scott Baio went on to a lot of other things. He'll be
Right.
fine.
Like diagnosis murder.
And Charles in Charge, for God's sakes.
Oh.
Get to work with the great Willie Ames.
That is a career goal of mine as well.
16. Who would get married at 16? Do kids really talk like that at 16? They say,
Sometimes.
I want to be with you forever.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
it talks like that as 14-years. They have sex with a guy.
Really?
That's the way they start
sure,
talking.
They have sex with him.
But it's not so. It isn't so intuitively obvious. I mean, a 14-year-old shouldn't be talking like that at all. They shouldn't be having sex. But when they have sex, it's such a. The fantasy is that's the person I'm going to marry.
But
Right.
when you were
It
in
never
high
is.
school, John, there was always that couple that was totally inseparable
I know.
all the way through high
I
school.
used to drive them. I used to have to watch them make out in the back of my Gremlin.
They'd walk around with their hands in each other's back
know.
pockets. They had shirts
But you
made
know what
up
else
with
about
each
them?
other's pictures on them.
Those couples typically fought like maniacs. They were either fighting or having sex. Typically,
Right.
there was no middle ground.
Right, and most of them did not go on and get married, or if they did, they broke up. Listen,
Yes, I agree.
Here's the situation. This younger marriage situation is ridiculous, if you ask me, because you have no idea where you're at 16. I mean, think about where you're at.
Not in today's
16.
society. It worked in the shtetl. It doesn't work now.
Right, when you needed to hurry up and pop out some kids so they could work the land.
Work the farm.
Also,
Absolutely.
your life expectancy was 25 to 30 years.
Exactly. So you had to hurry things up. Now you
Right.
live to like.
It's like you're 22, you'd like to get divorced, but hey, you're going to kick off in another 18 months, so let's just ride it out.
I don't know anybody, even of my parents' friends, who got married at 20, 21 years old, who are still together.
Right. Listen, it's a horrible notion. I mean, people, listen, if I had to work with Drew more than 10 years, I'd probably kill him. As it is, we've been together a year. I'm this close to going
So
upside his head
he's
with
basically
something.
9 years away from death.
Yeah, well,
Right.
He threatened a killing spree last night.
Nobody.
I'm not kidding.
Nobody should. Oh, yes, I did, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
All right, it's a little hostile with Drew. I apologize. Nobody needs to see anybody that much. Not for 45 years. 20 years, fine. You get married when you're 30. One of you dies of
30,
cancer by the time
35.
you're 50.
Right.
Tiffany.
Yes.
Tiffany's
15.
another good name.
You're on Loveline.
Okay. A couple of weeks ago, I was sort of raped by my next door neighbor.
Sort of raped.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Well, it only lasted about 30 seconds because by that time I told him, get off me, and I pushed him and everything.
By that time?
Yes.
What happened before?
Well, I mean, he was, doing it.
Did he have a weapon, or was it a violent rape, or?
It wasn't really that violent, but he's bigger than me, so he had more control.
Has anything like this ever happened to you before?
Yes.
When?
When I was about 5.
Okay.
I was raped by one of my...
Drew, you knew the answer to that before you asked it, didn't you?
Yeah, because somebody knew that you were a good victim.
Yeah.
And
Well, I've known him forever. But the problem now is that he's my next door neighbor, and my dad's really good friends with him. My sister's good friends with his brother,
How old is he?
He's 15, almost 16.
All right.
And now nobody believes me about it.
Does your family know about the previous incident?
I'm not sure. I live with my dad now. I don't think he knows about it.
Tiffany, you got to bring that all out.
Who was responsible for the previous incident when you were 5?
My mother.
Your mother's boyfriend?
Yes. And that had already gone to the police, and, they pressed charges, and, he got put away for that.
Good. Okay, good. Did you get any counseling for that at the time?
Did I get any counseling?
Yeah.
No.
All right, it's time for the...
I needed it.
Tiffany, you need it, okay?
Well, listen.
Just the empiric evidence.
Yes.
Just the
My
evidence.
mom made me eat health food. I needed 6 years of counseling.
That's right. Just put it in this context. Just the fact that this jerk who lived next door to you knew that you were a victim. He just knew it. That he could victimize you. That's at least get that undone in some fashion. Get some therapy.
So you're not victimized again.
Right. And this is what happened to you when you were 5 is going to affect you in your relationships from now on if you don't do something about it. This thing, I would tell your mom about it. Tell your mom about the previous incident. Bring it.
Well, the mom knows about the previous
incident.
incident.
I beg your pardon. The dad who doesn't know about it apparently, and put it all in the context of having been previously abused and now this guy's abusing it. I'm not even sure it needs to get caught up in what a jerk this guy is. I mean, just stay the hell away from him, but get some help for your health.
And again, it brings me back to these mothers And women don't do this. I'm talking to the mothers here. They go out and they find these vermin after the divorce or after the breakup, and they bring these pedophiles and the molesters and these alcoholics and the abusers, and they bring them right back into the camp. I mean, it's like, hey, let down the drawbridge, let them right on in, and then we'll just leave them.
It's hard to blame them. I mean, in those situations, honestly, people who do that, who behave in that manner, who are those kinds of predators, sexually, etc., they have to take responsibility for their own problems and jump off a cliff like lemmings. I mean, you can't, you got a woman in there who's in a vulnerable position. She might bring a guy home. Who knows if he's a psycho at first?
Yeah, but I think the point, though, is that...
But it is a mother's job to sniff a guy. We get these calls all the time. The mom brings a guy home, then the kid, the guy has his way with their daughter.
On the bottom of these guys.
But I mean, you got to suss someone out a little better than that before you bring the guy home and start a marriage or a relationship with the guy if the guy is a sexual predator. I know you can't tell, and oftentimes it's because the mother has had some form of abuse and does not have her antenna on straight and is out seeking these abusive guys herself. I mean, it's not a coincidence.
I just think, man, who thinks of that? I would never think. In
you know
all
what?
the times I've been dating people,
that's the whole. If I were single and anybody was be around my kid, I would think of that every single time. I mean,
really?
Oh no, we have a.
Well, I guess being here,
yes.
Well, but we have a thing in our house. If there's a penis in the neighborhood, we got to be watching our daughter. Right. 100% of the time. 100% of the time.
For years, I was on neighborhood penis watch in my neighborhood.
I don't want to tell you what the sticker in the window looks like either.
I used to walk with the guardian penises. And wear little fleshy berets. But that's the people that do that are the ones that should be.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, chemically castrated, whatever. I'm a big fan of that.
Absolutely.
Chemical castration.
Oh, absolutely. Physical, chemical, emotional, whatever it takes. I want the castration. Alexis.
Yeah.
And believe me, Drew was on guard when I was over at the house.
I assure you.
Even you, he would.
Even me.
Yes,
that's not right.
Alexis, 14.
Okay, about 2 Fridays ago, I was walking over to a friend's house, and while I was walking, I found this note on the ground, and it said something for, like, a mushroom plant. And then, like, this Friday, I came home, and I went over to the neighbor's house because my door was locked, and I was over there for about half an hour. I came outside again, and I found this Gap bag in front of my door, and it had, like, a bucket of some weird stuff in the same note.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it is.
What'd the note say?
Okay. It says, mushroom plant for happiness. I come from the legend. Treat me with care and talk to me, and I will give you peace, love, tranquility, and money.
Yeah, you want to send that bag directly to the studio. You want to send it to us?
I would suggest you call the local police and turn it over that way.
Yeah, that's good, too.
It's a legal drug. It's hallucinogenic, probably. I don't know who's trying to
God knows what's in this.
Yeah, who knows what's in it anyway. I mean, mushroom is pretty weird-looking stuff, and so the way she describes it sounds like it might be the real thing. Give it to your parents, and I provide your parents are responsible people.
Yeah, not if they have a history of drug abuse or alcoholism.
There's something really just bad about mushrooms in a Gap bag, though. It's just even mushrooms are going corporate.
Did you ever take mushrooms?
Yes.
Yes, me too.
Not from a Gap bag, usually from something in aluminum foil.
Hey, do you remember, we'll get into mushrooms for a second, but I was just thinking about finding stuff. When you become an adult, you stop finding things. When you're a kid, you find stuff all the time.
Yeah, well, you're lower to the ground. Look how tall
is that what it is? I'm 6'2".
Yeah, yeah.
I can't even see my own feet when I walk.
Things are by curbs. You know, when you're little, you're very low to the ground. You're like an anteater. You got your nose down there. You're plowing around.
I used to find wallets. I'd find porno. Actually, I did more
What neighborhood were you rooting around in?
I did more rooting for porno. I would go out on trash day, and actually, we called it trash picking.
Well, I think that may be the thing now.